Today we're going to take another look at Call of Cthulhu. Last time we left off, we had unleashed the Shambler, unwittingly unleashed the Shambler from a painting, and it killed us a couple times. So today we're going to try to defeat it and move on with the story. So we're in Chapter 6, the Sanders residence. Small recap. Pierce, Colden, and Bradley decided to team up to solve the Sarah Hawkins case. They have a new trail to follow. Francis Sanders, an art collector and friend of the painter, who died right in front of Pierce. The detective goes to his house in order to speak to his widow about the Shambler that the unfortunate man mentioned before he died. Yeah, the Shambler is no joke. It's the single greatest threat we face in the game so far. This is going to be hard because I'm literally going to pick up like right in the action. So I got to be ready on my toes. We'll replay this so that if you're just tuning in, you can see it. Plus, it gives me a moment to strategize.
What the hell was that?
Well, that was a fail.
What the hell was that?
Seeing me every single time. I don't know how many times I'm gonna have to die, but apparently it's gonna be a lot.
What the hell was that?
Go this way, see if we can get around this way to where maybe he can't see us. I'm still not 100% sure. Well, I think he just saw us. hopefully we can hide in here. It hasn't worked before, though. He has managed to see us every time we've hidden in here. So let's see if we can actually hide from him. Okay, I have no idea where he's at. And he saw me. Gutted me like a fish. Okay, now I'm just gonna keep moving and try not to stop moving. At some point, I think I got to get a weapon out of one of these cases. I'm not sure if I've got maybe destroy. I don't know if I can destroy him. Maybe if I destroy the painting, I don't know. But I've got to find a weapon, grab the weapon, and get to the painting, all before he gorges me to death again. So I don't know how we're gonna do this, but we're gonna try. It's really dark too, so it's hard to see, especially once I've been in that pantry for a while or that closet. I come out and I'm all like close to passing out, and it's really hard to tell where anything is.
What the hell was that?
hide in here, he won't see me. I don't know what happens if you stay in here too long. I don't know if you pass out or slip into the void or what. Yeah, I think you just get too tired. You have to get out of there.
Damn. Maybe
Okay, so
I can use this dagger.
there's my dagger. Now I gotta get back to the picture. Okay, run back to the picture. I'm not looking. I'm not paying any attention to anything. Just running back to the picture, and I'm gonna destroy
Damn
this
it.
shit.
This dagger didn't work.
Oh, that wasn't the right dagger. Shoot. Damn it. Well, I have no idea where our friend is, but we're gonna hide in here again. Maybe hide in there. Apparently I can, but I think I was too late. I think he saw me. Yep, I was too late. He's gonna get me. Maybe not. No, I think I actually got him all. I think I confused him a little bit. Yeah, he's going back out that way. No, well, we now know that that's what we gotta do, but the question is, where's the dagger? Which dagger are we
What
supposed
the
to actually
hell was
get?
that?
You don't want to know, buddy. You really don't want to know.
Damn. Maybe I can use this dagger.
Shit. Run, 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 run. Run, 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 run. Run, 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 run. Ah! Really? I don't even know if that was the right dagger, but so close. Trying it out.
What the hell was that? Maybe
Okay, we're
I
gonna
can use
grab
this
this
dagger.
dagger. Then we're gonna run over here and hide. Nope, he found me. Forget hiding, man. Hiding does not work with this guy. It might fool humans, but this guy for some reason can hear you. You like hear your heartbeat, you know? So
What the
I'm just
hell
gonna
was
try to
that?
run and outrun it. I'm just gonna try to outrun him. It's my only choice really at this point, so I'm gonna hide here.
Damn. Maybe I can use this dagger.
I only got one chance really with each dagger. I just gotta try to get the dagger, try it, and move on. Trying to figure out what
What
dagger
the
it is
hell
by
was that?
myself, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Oh, I'm kind of walking the wrong way too.
I can't even touch it. Damn.
I think I might have tried this one already. Okay, well, we're going to have to try to see if we can figure something out. Excuse me. Okay. Toward the back. I wouldn't say it's towards the back, but it's not really the best, not really the best, thing there. Towards the back of what? With your back to the chamber, head into the right room. In the back right of the room, near the statue. Okay, with your back to the shambler. So with your back to the picture of the shambler.
What the hell was that? Is this dagger part of Sanders' collection, or was he seeking to acquire it?
so the dagger is like two like bones, or looks like it's made out of bone of some kind.
What the hell was that?
I'm screwed. He's gonna find me. I'm taking too long to press the buttons. Just kill me already. I'm so stupid. I'm just so bad at this right now. So bad at this.
What the hell was that?
I just don't understand how I'm supposed to get to where I need to get. It just gets me every time. Every time he gets me.
What the hell was that? Damn. This dagger looks different.
What's the matter with you? You sure you won't be needing that hand? You're losing it, Detective. At this rate, you're right. The bottle will get you before I do.
You didn't see anything.
I saw you within an inch of putting a dagger through your forearm. Did I miss something more interesting?
I was attacked by a creature. I pushed it back, I think.
I think so too.
You knew. You knew about the beast.
What are you talking about? Think yourself lucky that I saved your hand, even if it was to save my goods.
You mean me?
Don't flatter yourself, sweetheart. I'm talking about the contents of this gallery. And by the way, where do you think you're going with that dagger?
It saved my life. It's an extraordinary dagger.
You should talk to Algernon Drake. He's an antique dealer here on Darkwater. He'll tell you all about it. From what I saw in the ledgers, it was him who sold it to Sanders.
This symbol on the dagger, it was all over Sanders' cell. It's what protected him. It's what protected me, too. This antique dealer has a good knowledge of the occult. I have nothing to lose by meeting him.
You've got your spunk back. Go where you want. I'm staying here to talk business with Irene.
Chapter 7, The Nameless Bookstore. The Shambler turned out to be much more than an artwork painted by Sarah Hawkins, as a huge creature came out of the painting to attack Pierce. After a hard fight, the detective managed to send it back into the painting. He later discovered that the dagger he used to repel the creature had been sold to Sanders by a man named Algernon Drake, owner of the Nameless Bookstore. Pierce decides to pay the library a visit. Okay, just so you know, if you're trying to use this, if you're going back on these videos and trying to use it as a definitive walkthrough of this game, it is not. I specifically, in that house, missed quite about 3 or 4 things, I think, that you could get to either improve your medical or just to improve your knowledge overall. And I missed them and got to the point where I couldn't really go back. So... Okay, so
Where's the
we're
bookseller?
at a law, kind of a
Freud's
law in the
The
action right now.
Interpretation of Dreams. It's the work that laid the foundations of psychoanalysis at the beginning of this century.
It's practical work written by Sigmund Freud for psychologists describes the techniques of analytical interpretation of dreams. The analysis must follow several rules, especially that of free association, a principle announced by Freud at the end of the 19th century. It treats dreams as a way of revealing buried desires. I cannot believe that this theory is acceptable to my nightmares. History of Darkwater, Volume 2. A Puritan colony led by Reverend John Wickwood settled on the island during the 17th century. Jack of all trades, inspect 50 items. They named the item Darkwater because of the dark shades of the sea. They believed it was because of the peculiar color of the rocks surrounding the island. They erected the first buildings, among which were the Hawkins Manor, the church, and the cemetery. The rare documents and handwritten notes they left spoke of nightmares and deviant behaviors. They disappeared at the beginning of the 18th century. Handbook on Anatomy and Dissection Part Book 2. It's precise and illustrated with as much detail as the first volume. This book focuses on healing surgeries specific to malformations and motor disorders.
An old diary.
Diary of the Pastor's Wife, Volume 4. Pastor declared himself to be the prophet. He renounced God and worshipped a strange pagan entity with a monstrous appearance. His wife tried to reason with her husband, but in vain. He was convinced that he must listen to his voice in his head, because it holds the truth. Darkwater History, Harry Campbell, Volume 4. In the 19th century, as the American whaling industry reached its peak in the rest of the world, whales gradually disappeared from the water surrounding Darkwater. This phenomenon appears even more mysterious because, up until then, the region was a favored refuge for crustaceans. In 1847, after months of pursuit, Scylla returns to port with a gigantic creature on board. Its crew asserts that the sea monster had eaten all the disappeared whales. After a night of furious combat, the survivors managed to drag the beast onto the whaling ship.
What happened here? Let's start over. Where did they break in from? Blood. Seems like amateur work. To whom does this footprint belong? This burglar seems to be rather clumsy. What killed all these animals? What sort of thief leaves his tools at the crime scene? What happened that made the burglar flee before finishing his work? What the... Charles Hawkins? What's happening to Hawkins? What sort of power did Sarah Hawkins' painting possess? Sarah Hawkins helped hide something in this safe. Drake put in a great deal of effort to hide whatever is in here. Everything is linked to the Sarah Hawkins case. Drake left instructions on how to find the combination of his safe.
The page seems to be hidden here. It is possible to read. If somebody finds these memoirs, there will be no doubt that I am in serious trouble. My last and only hope is that my body and bones are still in this plane of reality. In order they to be recovered and burned, the funeral urn must be given to my dear mother, if she's still of this world. The following message is of capital importance. Whoever reads these lines and demonstrates acuity as sharp as mine can hope to gain access to my most precious possession. It lies within my safe, and the clues to the combination are to be found in 3 cylinders, each hidden where life and study combine in a Greek world. Each cylinder is numbered even if, as the celebrated author says, order is the pleasure of reason, but disorder is the delight of the imagination. Indeed, despite my preference for organized chaos, I must admit that reason usually prevails in the end. If by chance a person, or should I say a genius, was to match my intellect and find the combination of the safe, I would ask that they deliver its contents into the safekeeping of my friend and colleague, Professor Armitage of Miskatonic University. The content of this safe is not only a vast digest of knowledge, but also a weapon that is far too dangerous for it to fall into the wrong hands. I hope that you will be able to appreciate the danger that this represents, and that you will act accordingly. In any event, I will neither be there to guide you, nor to suffer from your actions. Handbook on the Anatomy of Dissection, Book 1. At least that can be said about this book is that its title is well conceived. The illustrations of human anatomy and dissection methods presented and illustrated in great detail. You have to have a strong heart or the attachment proper to doctors to consult its pages.
Is everyone on this island taking sleeping pills?
I found these sleeping pills in the bookshop. Does this bookseller suffer from insomnia?
What link did he find between Charles Hawkins and an old amulet?
Key of Rala file. This key that bears the Elder Sign is the only one able to protect your psyche. It is in the form of a cylindrical medallion hanging at the end of a heavy chain. Hundreds of years ago, the star and the branch, whose purpose is to push back the forces of the great old ones, were engraved at its center. Everything points to it being Charles Hawkins that tore it from its last owner, an Egyptian antique dealer. In press cuttings that mention the misdemeanor, the date of the robbery coincides with the last of Hawkins' trips off to Cairo. It remains to be seen whether he knows the true purpose of the artifact. Try to find it. I have no idea what it is. I'm just, guessing at this point. Hey, let's try 666. Probably not, but, why not? Seems appropriate for this game. I don't know. Oh, there's a bunch more things to
Arkham
search.
editions. Never heard of him.
Book of esoteric philosophy and a key text in the Madame Blavatsky's Theosophical movement. Luxurious collection of treatises and works on astrologism and the supernatural.
How many volumes are there in this collection? Another volume by Arkham Editions.
Azathoth and Other Horrors. Also known as the Nightmare Lyrics.
Arkham Editions.
This poem
Never
was
heard of it.
sensationally received when first published in 1908. Derby was only 18 years old.
How many volumes are there in this collection?
Key of Solomon.
Another volume by Arkham Editions. Arkham Editions. Never heard of him. How many volumes are there in this collection? Another volume by Arkham Editions. Arkham Editions? Never heard of him.
Things that should not
How many
be.
volumes are there in this collection? Another volume by Arkham Editions. Arkham Editions? Never heard of him.
There's a lot of those, aren't there? Holy cow, there's a lot of those.
Things are not looking good. A kind of chalice.
Seems to be made of gold and decorated with real precious stones. So the rubies and sapphires make up a specific motif.
Cylinders that Drake tried to hide. I should perhaps listen to them.
River of Medicine, Tome 3. Even a few years back, responsible for a single practitioner to know all the medical knowledge of his time. This book, which concludes the series, shows this is now virtually impossible. About 10 renowned doctors took part in putting together this collection. I've already checked all these, yeah. And those bookshelves go way up there, don't they? Yeah. Typical old bookshop. Oh, here we go.
And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets. I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling, and my will strengthens as my apprehension grows. We shall refuse to be the playthings of destiny. Dear friend, I thank you again for the anthology of the works of Arkham Editions that you sent me. Volume 9, Azathoth and Other Horrors, seemed particularly relevant to my research. I never tire of browsing through them.
Okay, so volume 9, so that's 9.
I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. And these red drops, like precious stones, life.
So let's look. How many white pieces are left on the
To be the
chessboard
guardian of the
standing?
Grail does not protect me from its attraction.
There are
And I
4.
do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets.
4. I think there are 4 pieces left. Actually, only 3 pieces if you eliminate the queen. So that's 3. So that's the second
The
number.
chalice of knowledge.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 5. So it looks like there's 5. So 5, 3, 9. Maybe 5, 3, 9. Let's look. See if that works. This is the second one. So that's 3. 5. 5, 3, 9. Yeah, that worked. Wow, how about that? Solved the puzzle. Whoa. No, this isn't weird at all. Chapter 8, Riverside Institute. Oh, great, Riverside Institute again. And the nameless bookstore, Pierce traced a trail of an attempted burglary. He discovered that Charles Hawkins was behind the attempt. Pierce opened the bookseller's safe to find what the letter and Sarah Hawkins had hidden there. A book covered in human skin lied inside, and irresistibly attracted the detective when he opened it. His mind was projected into another body. Okay. Okay. This is going to conclude chapter 7. So in the next video, we'll pick up on chapter 8. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell.